Hey everyone, my name is Dante and welcome back to Story Hub, your hub for the best stories on Reddit. Before we get into today's story, this week's giveaway is for these brand new headphones. To enter, just comment and subscribe. Enjoy the video. I'm a male 32, dating a female 24, for the past 16 months, living together for the past 7 months after her lease was up, figuring what the heck since she was always over my place and we got along great. 2 months ago she started a bottle service job. As a requirement of the job, she has to make social media posts promoting the bar and requesting messages for people to book tables. Going into the job I was supportive and requested she just leave work at work, shoot down inappropriate messages and not hang around customers and the bar after hours. I knew working in the bar environment wasn't the best, being eye candy for people spending $, but I always fully trusted her. Earlier this month I was out of town and texted her to MSG me when she got home. I woke up to no text, but we talked the next day where she said it was a slow night and she hung out with 2 of her coworkers after work, only making $75. I came back to my apartment and saw she was logged onto my computer and was sent $2,500 from a dude for kitchen supplies at 4:30 a.m. on PayPal. I immediately woke my GF up questioning her. She said this was a finance guy who regularly came in and knew the owners. That night there was a $3K minimum spend for his table, but since the club was so dead that night they only charged him for 2 bottles, which was $500. She said he texted the one girl that she was hanging with after work asking if they wanted to come hang out and he'd pay them to come hang out with him and friends. My GF said she asked her this is nothing weird, right? And her friend is like, no, this guy is a loser. He just wants to look cool in front of his friends. So apparently my GF and her 2 friends hung out with him and friends for 2 hours just chilling. She said as they left he asked for her PayPal to split and he sent the remaining $2,500 as a tip, extra for the holidays. When I initially heard this, my gut reaction was this is BS and super shady. For so much money for nothing to happen, I asked why didn't you mention this to me at all? Like, hey, this weird creepy dude paid us money to hang. But it was never even mentioned. My GF said she was weirded out and wanted to tell me in person. I was pissed and said prove me nothing happened. So she had withdrawn 2/3 of the money and both of us met up with the 2 girls that were there that night. I interrogated both coworkers and also DM'd the guy and they all had the same story. I still felt this story was absolutely insane, but I gave my GF the benefit of the doubt for always being trustworthy and having the other 3 PPL talk to me about that night. In addition, I had my guy friends and their GFs look over text exchanges I had with my GF about this while also viewing this guy's IG profile and what he wrote to me. They said this guy looks like he has Napoleon syndrome and they'd be floored if my GF cheated on me with this guy. Anyway, this week I was totally dead wrong. I'll admit it, but I looked through her phone. Something was still bothering me about this entire story, and my GF gave me my entire sob story of how her rock. She'd never hurt me. She sees us forever and also is willing to move back to my hometown later next year. I'm thinking, are you saying this because you effed up or do you really don't want to lose me? Anyway, I tried her passcode that I knew from driving around in the car playing music, but the passcode didn't work. Figured that it was a sketch. Then I made another guess and got right in. I checked her recent texts and noticed a random number texting her within the past couple weeks, things such as, you up, just got back to town, wanna hang. Oh, you're in town, send a pic. Also another text saying are things good with you and your guy. What really bothered me though is he texted her I'm out with my buddies, come meet up, name your price, and another text saying remember who took care of you. Most of these she didn't reply, but she never texted hey stop I have a boyfriend or blocked him. He also knew she had a boyfriend after I messaged him previously. At this point I am absolutely furious. I woke her up and said hey, I gotta admit I've been on edge, went through your phone and saw you're still texting this guy. You said you didn't know him and your friend set the alleged hangout up. I said I had a weird suspicion about the entire night, and even if you didn't cheat on me physically, unlikely, I said you emotionally cheated by lying saying you don't talk to him and have been talking to him the past couple of weeks. I said even though you maybe don't reply to the majority of the texts, you still breadcrumb him long enough to keep convo going. She said she only talks to him to book tables at the club and denied any wrongdoing. I said because of that I cannot trust you at all going forward, and your story about what transpired that night for $2,500 seems all made up. I said I need you to pack all your stuff up now. I feel scummy for resorting to checking her phone, but I've been going crazy this month after hearing about this, and I'm glad to know now that this customer's money is more important than our relationship. Not the idiot. You are a much older guy dating a beautiful young woman who works bottle service and you don't actually trust her. What possibly could have gone wrong? I actually think she might be telling the truth. There are guys who literally pay women to hang out with them. There are guys who pay women they have never even met. My male 25, wife, female 23, and I have had a tradition every Christmas where we would bake Christmas cookies and frost them without friends. We'd then give the cookies out to friends and family and helpers. Every year, my wife would take on the bulk of the baking duties, insisting that only she knew how to bake them right and only letting whoever is helping frost them. She always insisted on doing all the baking because frosting is the fun part and the only thing people want to do. Usually this frosting and baking marathon would last until the wee hours of the morning and start around noon. Well, this year, for reasons that aren't relevant to this post today, she would not be available on the day we normally do all of this. She was sad that we wouldn't be able to do our cookie tradition. I said that I was more than capable of baking the cookies. She seemed to think I was joking and that I could basically never do it myself. Well, I said I'd try, and she wished me a sarcastic good luck. Well, in the run-up to the days of baking and frosting, I start running drills to optimize production. Enter testing and tragic mistake montage. I started rearranging the house in various configurations, running tests on the dough we were using to see how long it took to bake and making appropriate changes while running it by taste testers, substituting ingredients for quicker bake time while preserving taste, making the cookies as thin as possible without comprising frosting ratio, canvas space for creativity, and or comprising structural integrity, etc. Come baking day, I have everything down to a science. As friends and family come in, I give them the rundown. After a couple hours most kinks are worked out, and cookies are flowing out at a breakneck pace. Eventually, we start running out of material, something that never happened under my wife's aegis. We start making runs to the store for the necessary raw materials to fuel our mighty cookie forges. By the time we were exhausted around 2 a.m., we had produced at least 5 times the amount of cookies we ever had before. While my wife gets home a couple days later and is weirdly upset. She insists the cookies taste weird, that we spent too much money, and that I was actively trying to make her look bad by making so much more than her. In truth, I ran blind tests to see if anyone could differentiate between our old recipe and mine, and no one could. I also only spent 40% more than years previous as I slotted in some cheaper ingredients and bought some stuff in bulk, and I had absolutely zero intention of upstaging her. I simply had the goal of maximize cookie production. She says that even if I didn't do it on purpose that I should have thought about how it made her look to out circles and that I have embarrassed her, and she actually called me an asshole. Really quick, if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to drop a like. She's never called me an asshole in all 3 years of marriage, so I can't help but think I am. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You didn't do anything wrong, per se, and your methods sound fun and add a competitive edge which enhances the excitement for some people. But no one likes to discover that a tradition on which they've spent time and effort and enjoy doing doesn't need them at all to function and may even be better without their hard work. Not the idiot. You said you were going to bake them, and you baked them. Some may find your methods odd, but I get that you were enthusiastic about it, maybe went a little overboard. But I don't see anything vindictive in your behavior. Even the taste tests, if I'm understanding correctly, were done before the accusation that yours aren't as good as hers, which suggests to me that the point was to make sure people would enjoy the cookies. I'm working in the billing queue in a call center for one of the big 3 telcos, and a client calls in regarding a billing concern. This lady calls in, is puzzled by why she got charged a one-time fee $49 for a wireless access point. It's Gen 1 equipment for wireless set-top boxes for Optic TV. She's even more puzzled. Why would she have that charge when she doesn't have TV services from us? And I informed her that it started more or less a month ago. She's disputing that because Optic TV isn't available in her area. Now I'm confused. She lives in a small town and there's no Optic TV there. I did a little digging and found out that someone, no ex-husband, was still on her account and got a 3-year contract to get a free TV for Optic TV and internet. She begins to cry on the phone and tells me her now ex-husband had an affair with a younger woman. Divorced her, milked her for as much as he could and apparently still is milking her for more. He totally ghosted her, moved to Alberta, changed his email, phone number, blocked her on all social media, etc. In my mind I'm like, what a dickhead. And I'm like, well I'm sorry if you cancel the services you're on hook to pay for cancellation fees and so on. I can tell her though, I can remove his access to your account and you can also add on a password, downgrade the internet and TV to the bare essentials, and I can attempt to redirect the TV gift from his address to hers, but there's no guarantee as it's been processed already. I can hear the light going off in her head. Wait, what? You have where he's living at now? Why, yes. He's got TV and internet services, so there's a service address. She goes really quiet, says her lawyer and herself have been trying to track him down but his family and friends are being tight-lipped about it. She asks if I'm allowed to give that info to her. I smile and reply, this is your account. You have unrestricted access for service address, phone numbers, emails that your now ex-husband provided to us to get hooked up. She asks if I can give her his new address, his new cell number and the second number left on the account, presumably the new woman, and contact info over the phone right now. I asked if she had a pen and paper handy. She was so ecstatic. And after giving her all the details from her account regarding the second service address, downgrade everything. And he was a hockey fan and there was a game playing right now with his team. So I wish I could have been a fly on the wall when the game cuts out and he calls in to ask WTF and discovers he's been removed. And there's an account pin and he's been discovered by his ex-wife and lawyer. Not the idiot. This reminds me of my mom. Married a much younger man very quickly. Don't even get me started. Marriage ended in less than a year and he's being a duck. Traded in their car he had for a brand new Mustang and added it to her insurance. She called to get it removed. They said unfortunately they couldn't. She's like, well it's my policy, can I just cancel it? And Luke in Austin TX said, why yes ma'am you absolutely can. Canceling the policy. About a week or two later he totaled the car speeding because he's a horrible driver. Not the idiot. Absolute bargain for $49 and a nice bit of karma too. I hope the ex-wife's lawyers go to town on the ex-husband. Thank you for watching and if you enjoyed, don't forget to like and subscribe.